everyone, it is Friday, March 2nd, 2018, and this is episode 134 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host, Jessica. I can be found as Serenova on Ravelry and Twitter, and as Serenova Crafts on Instagram. You can find the show notes for today's episode in my blog or in the Ravelry group. Links down below if you're watching on YouTube. Likes, subscribes, comments are all appreciated. I have an AMA thread in the Ravelry group. You can also join the Facebook group or ask any questions here on YouTube. So this is my post-spa episode, so I'm going to be showing you all the goodies I got, also just talk about my weekend in general, and I even have some finished projects for you. So, except the possibility of me yelling at a cat, this should go pretty smoothly. Because last week, I don't know if you heard them last week, they were kind of all over the place and being trouble. And I think Confetti is sitting on one of the chairs opposite me, so yep, there she is. She's rubbing on my Yarn Swift. Get down, cat. Down. She has been trying to get on the table. We've been trying to stop her. So the cat training is ongoing. But anyways, so for spa, I mentioned last week that I was going up the following day. So on Friday, my mom and I drove up to Maine. We stopped in Portland to go to a bookstore I'd heard about on the All the Books podcast. Liberty, who is one of the hosts, goes there very often, and so I wanted to check it out. It's called Print, a bookstore. I will put a link to it in the show notes. It's a very cute little shop, and I had a wonderful visit. And I got a tote bag, and I got a book, which I didn't bring downstairs, but I will also, post a couple pictures of those, like, at the end of this video, or I'll overlay them here or something. I'll figure it out. And then it turns out right next door was the Maine Jewish Museum, and Maine is in the state of Maine, so M-A-I-N-E, Maine, right? And it turns out that it's the Etz Chaim synagogue, and so my mom and I went in because we had no idea. We knew it was in Portland, but we had no idea it was right next door to this bookstore, so of course we had to go in. And the curator's office is like right next to the door when you walk in, so she actually gave us a quick explanation of what the building was about and its history, and then let us off to explore. So their main sanctuary is still there. They now only meet in like the small little chapel, because there isn't the large congregation to support using the main sanctuary. But it was very interesting to like just walk around the old building. It was an Orthodox shul, so it had the women's balcony. And it was just cool to go see like the old architecture and stuff. There was also some artists on display. There was a photographic series from Auschwitz. And then there was also like a history of Jews in Maine, which was cool. And so we were doing, we kind of walked through that. She suggested going to the top floor and working our way down, which is what we did. And then, we headed out because we still needed to get to Freeport. So once we got to Freeport, I actually, like right as soon as we checked into the hotel, we like got our stuff and dropped it off in the room. And I took off down to the marketplace, which wasn't open yet. It opened at 5, but I went in anyways, because I had a sample I owed to one of the vendors. And so I wanted to make sure I gave it to her so that she had it on her booth for the weekend. And this one was like, hey, you're not supposed to be in here. We're not opening it. I said, I know, I just need to give this to a vendor. And I held up the item. And like and immediately her demeanor changed. She was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Just run in and give it to them. Like, no problem. So I thought that was kind of funny. But basically, Friday night we just kind of stayed in the hotel. Mom and I had dinner in the hotel restaurant. I sat and knit, it was just a nice evening. But we didn't do too much. I did go to the market and I did make a couple of purchases that night because I knew if I waited, the yarn probably wouldn't be there, right? Spa is one of those things where like, okay, there's a very limited, vendors can only bring so much. And so, because of that, I needed to make sure if I wanted something, I had to buy it like Friday night. So I did go to the marketplace immediately on Friday night. And I did get a few things, and I'll just show you everything at the end all together. And then, went back to the hotel room and relaxed. So Saturday morning, actually, I wore these socks on Saturday. Now, I was good. I waited a whole year to wait these socks. These were my spa socks from last year. I knit these with the Spunky Eclectic 2017 spa colorway. And I finished them right after spa ended. And so I actually saved them all year to wear at 2018 spa. So now they're going to go into my regular sock rotation, but I waited I waited a whole year to wear these socks, so I wanted to wear them at the next spa. So on Saturday I wore those socks. Mom and I actually went to Mother of Pearl, which is the LYS for Freeport. And it was super crowded. Like, there was so many women in there, and a few men, but it was mostly women. There was just a ton of people in there. We actually had to park in back of the building because there just wasn't space. And so I actually didn't buy any yarn from them, but I did get a couple of needles that I needed, and I did pick up a zippered tote, which again, I left upstairs with the book I got at print because I wasn't thinking when I grabbed everything. I thought I had everything downstairs I needed to record this video, and then I didn't have it, so I'll put in a picture or something and you'll see it, and yeah. So, I'll put the socks down now and stop flailing them around. So I got a zippered tote, and then my mom and I made our way back towards downtown Freeport where we were staying, and we stopped at LL Bean and walked around because Freeport, Maine is where the flagship store for LL Bean is. And so, you know, we walked around there and enjoyed it, and then we went to the British goods shop, and actually I made one small purchase while we were there. I bought a sweater stone because I need it, because like some of my sweaters, like some of the older ones, are getting really pilly, so I decided to get the sweater stone. And it was on sale, so, you know, that was a good buy. And then there's this little bookstore right across the street from the British store. So my mom and I went in. She bought a couple of books, but I bought this necklace, which I have to lean forward to the camera so you can see. It's a little fox, and it's abalone shell with sterling, and I just really like foxes. So I decided, you know, hey, fox necklace, count me in. There was also a matching set of earrings, but I didn't get those, mainly because I knew I wouldn't wear them, because I don't really wear dangly earrings, like, ever. So I figured, what's the point in buying them, right? I knew I'd wear the necklace, and I knew I wear the necklace all the time. But I, like, never wear dangly earrings, so I didn't see any point in buying them. So I didn't get the set, I just got the one. But it's abalone shell, which is something Maine is known for, and I very much enjoyed that. Then we kind of went back to the hotel and relaxed for a while, and actually, while we were there that afternoon, I have my first faux. I finished the speckled space socks. Sorry, let me pull them up this way. I finished the speckled space socks, and I'm actually going to go give them to the person they're for this afternoon, as soon as I'm done recording. And actually I'm recording in the dining room because I didn't get a chance to record in the living room this morning because I had a friend leave her phone at my house last night and I had to drive down to Chelmsford and give it back to her. So I didn't get a chance to record this morning when I had like all the nice daylight, because there is a storm going through. They said it was a nor'easter, but I don't really believe them because it's just been raining and like mildly breezy all day. I'm like, this isn't a nor'easter. I'm sorry. Like, this ain't a nor'easter. This is just, you know, a mild inconvenience. So, everyone was so worried about the storm. People were rushing out to stores, and they've had warnings out, and I'm just like, it's rain. Like, what is this? It's rain. But anyways, I finished the socks. I'm very happy with them. The pattern is Speckled Space Socks. It is free on Ravelry. And I'll link it in the show notes, and I'll link this. And I want to make another pair of socks with this pattern because I want this pattern for myself. But unfortunately these yellow socks are not mine. They are for someone else, so you will never ever see these again. They're going away this afternoon in like half an hour. But yes, I finished these. I'm very happy. These were my first, these were what I finished at spa. My goal for spa weekend was to finish these. And so I finished those that Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night, Mom and I got tickets to the fashion show. Because Mom hadn't seen the fashion show before, and I might have passed on the fashion show if Mom hadn't not seen it before. But Mom wanted to see it, so I figured I'd go with her, because why, you know, let her go, why make her go on her own? I'll keep her company. So, if you guys remember from last episode, I had that skein of On the Round fingering in the sugar cookie. So while we were waiting for the fashion show to start, after we got to the hair seek it, I cast on this hat, which is my first faux, well, my second faux to show you. I cast on this hat. So I cast on and I knit most of the brim while we were there at the fashion show. And this is what it looks like on. It's a slouchy beanie. It's like more like a fashion-y. I mean, it's actually pretty warm, but it's kind of fashion-y too. It's actually, the pattern is the Piece O Cake. Oh, yes, just the letter O. Piece O Cake brioche beanie. And it was actually very fun to knit. It gave me a little trouble transitioning from the ribbing to the brioche because I hadn't done pearl row brioche before. Because, like, the cowl I knit my Tivana manager was just all knit brioche because it was just back and forth. They basically knit a scarf and seamed the ends together to make it a cowl. But for this, it's in the round, so there's no knit back rows. It's just knit, pearl, knit, pearl, knit, pearl, right? So I hadn't done that before. So, like, I tried to start the brioche on Sunday on the drive home, and it didn't quite work, so I had to wait until I pulled up a YouTube video of purling brioche, and then I realized I was twisting the yarn. Excuse me, I was wrapping the yarn around the needle in the wrong direction, and as soon as I fixed that one mistake in my execution, it worked. And then I knit the whole thing. So this was a Sunday to yesterday. I finished this yesterday, so that was Thursday. So it was a Saturday night to Thursday afternoon project. I whipped it out pretty quickly. But yeah, so I very much enjoyed this. But the fashion show was great. Lots of beautiful things were shown off. I will actually link to the spa album that one of the organizers puts together on Yahoo. I will put that link in the show notes so that you guys can see all the pictures, because I had camnesia for the weekend. I didn't take nearly as many pictures as I should have. So unfortunately, I don't have many pictures I took myself. But I know that the fashion show is heavily photographed and that people submit their photos, so I will just link that album for you to go and all the pretty things. One woman did one of those cathedral window Afghans, and it was just absolutely stunning to look at. I mean, the thing was massive. It could have been a floor rug, but it was, massive. Looked amazing. And so then we came back and just kind of, you know, Mom kind of went and chilled in the hotel room, watched like the closing night of the Olympics, you know, like before the closing ceremonies. But here's what the hat looks like. You know, it's actually got this cute, the star, like the decreases in the brioche make this like star. I think it's cool. Looks fun. It's very comfy to wear too. But this is actually, let me say the yarn because I forgot to say this before. This is On the Round Everyday Fingering in the Sugar Cookie colorway. And I'm very happy with this hat. I like this hat. I'm probably going to wear this hat a lot because I like it. But anyways, Saturday night, Mom just watched the Olympics, and I went back downstairs and knit for a while before coming up and going back to bed. Sunday morning, a lot of women left very quickly on Sunday morning because there was some snow coming in. There was some bad weather for Sunday morning, but my mom and I were like, look, we're going to hit the snow anyways because we're going southwest to get home. So whenever we leave, we're going to hit the snow. So we just kind of took it easy, went back to the marketplace one last time on Sunday morning. Mom came with me. She bought a gift for one of her friends, and I bought a couple more needles that I needed for something because I don't really have a lot of 16-inch circular needles. So I bought some, you know, I bought some more while I was in the marketplace. And then we had breakfast. We actually had a late breakfast, and then we packed up and we left. I drove part of the way home, and then Mom drove part of the way home. You know, we kind of switched off. Because I drove all the way up, and then Mom drove part of the way back. So, you know, we kind of, it was okay. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. But so that was good. And then I watched the closing ceremony of the Olympics at home on Saturday night. You know, but that was fun. I mean, it was just a really nice weekend away. You know, just, I had lots of nice conversations with lots of women who were just like, hey, is the seat free? And would just sit down next to me. That's the kind of environment spa is where it's just relaxing. There aren't really classes or anything like that. There is the vendors, and they're in the marketplace, and there is the fashion show, but that's about it. You're kind of up to make the weekend what you want. And I think that's part of the reason why I like it, because there's no pressure to do anything in particular. If you don't want to change out of your PJs and you don't want to leave the hotel the whole weekend, go for it. Like, that's totally fine. Especially if you're staying at the Hilton, because that's where the marketplace is. So if you're staying at the Hilton, you don't even need to get dressed the whole weekend if you don't want to, you know, so. Anyways, my other faux for the week, because I told you I had 3, is another hat. I cast this one on Monday, and I cast it off today before I started recording. So here it is. This is the Molly beanie, and this one's knit out of worsted weight. So this one is fingering weight. We could probably knit it out of, a heavier weight, but it's written for fingering. And this one is designed for worsted. This one's like a much more warmer, like textured beanie. It's got the cables that run up one side of the hat, and then it has the textured, which this is just like a knit and purl thing. Now this yarn is Cascade Lana de Oro or something like that. It's a 50-50 alpaca merino blend, and this is just a very nice gray that I got this yarn from someone. And so I only had one skein of this yarn, so I decided to make a really fun hat, and it does. So I got 2 hats this week. This was a 2-hat week for me, which is like, normally I don't finish projects nearly this fast. So the fact that I have like 3 faux to show off is like, what is happening, right? So there we go, I have that hat. And now I'll show you all the goodies. I mean, I did work on other projects, but you know, this is already going to be a long enough episode without my pulling out all of those too. Like I was working on my vanilla socks, and I was working on a shawl, and you know, but I'll just show you guys the goodies, and then I will let you go for this week. So I had gone to Spa with the idea of buying enough DK weight yarn to make the Paris Toujours shawl. Now, unfortunately, DK was not a weight that a lot of the vendors actually had this year. And what they did have for DK, there wasn't a large variety of colors. I saw a color at the Spunky booth, but unfortunately she only had 2 skeins and I would have needed 3. So I didn't get that color. But I did fall in love with this color, which is called Speckled Egg 2. And this is from Maine Yarn and Fiber Supply. This is their Pemaquid base. It's a superwash merino, 20% nylon, so it's technically a sock base. But I just fell in love with this color. Fell in love with this color, like all the speckles and everything. And Paris Toujours you can actually make out of fingering weight. So I got 2 skeins, one of which I've already balled up because I want to start the pattern. I want to start knitting it. But Paris Toujours can be knit out of DK or fingering, so I decided I would just get 2 fingering skeins and knit the Paris Toujours out of those. So this will become my Paris Toujours. So I'm excited about that. And then I did get Spunky's colorway for this year. This is the Spunky Eclectic NETASPA color. This is candy coated. It's the 2018 color. This is on her Tough Sock base, which is 90-10 superwash merino nylon, so 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. This is about 440 yards, and you can see it's like very colorful. I thought about getting her DK for the Paris Toujours, but I didn't think this color would work for Paris Toujours. I think something more speckled with more quicker color changes would have been better. So this is going to be a pair of socks, and I will knit these and then wait until next year's Spa to wear these, because apparently that's going to be my thing now. Then this was a new to me dyer, Yarn in the Box. They were new. I hadn't heard about them before. And this is their Rocky Coast Merino, which is 100% superwash merino. And this colorway is Seal Island. So I thought this was fun. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. It doesn't have any nylon, so I'm not going to make socks out of it, but I'm thinking like a hat or maybe like a shawlette, because this is, because it's 483 yards, so I could do a decent sized shawlette with this, especially if I used big needles. So that's that. And then I got a skein of Kiwi Pop last year. They had done a Spa colorway last year. This year I asked them about it. They unfortunately didn't get around to dyeing a Spa colorway for this year. But I really fell in love with this skein. So I got this. This is Annie B from Kiwi Pop Yarn, and this is in their Socket to Me fingering base. So I could make socks out of this. I'm debating, but I could make socks out of this. I think this yarn is just gorgeous, but you know. But that's it. That is everything I got at Spa. That was my weekend, and then my mom actually won a door prize at the fashion show, and I knew the dyer who gave her the yarn she won, and I'm like, I want that yarn, but my mom was totally not giving up that skein, so I kind of PM'd the dyer on Facebook and was like, Psst, Lisa, do you have any more of that yarn? And she did, so I went and I picked it up. So here it is. This is Flying Thin Yarns Co-Pilot Fingering. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a 400 yards of fingering weight, and the colorway is Weekend in Maine. So this is her. She dyed this for Spa, and she still had a skein, so I grabbed it from her. She actually said not to make socks out of this because it's a very loose ply. You can kind of see looking at it how like how squishy the strands are, which means that it's not that great for socks unless you knit it at a super tight gauge. So I'm thinking another hat or a shawlette or something. But this is it, Weekend in Maine. Absolutely gorgeous blues. You know, it's kind of very oceany. It's got the speckles in it and everything. So over like a light blue-gray. So I'm very happy with this. This is the last thing I got, and that is everything. And so I don't have anything else to talk about. So I will see you guys all next time. I hope you have a good week. Again, likes, subscribes, comments are all appreciated. Feel free to comment here on YouTube, in Ravelry, on my blog, in the Facebook group, wherever you would like. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. You can even like PM me on Twitter or something. You know, you can DM me, whatever. It's fine. You know, but I always like hearing from you guys. So, you know, feel free to say hi, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye!